Hello, Rediscovering Me community. It's Jane Boyd here. This week we are talking about autoimmune disease, and so I've been given the task of creating a video on autoimmune disease, and seriously, I know very little about it. So I've just spent quite a number of hours just poring over what's on the internet. I'm not an expert at all, but for those of you who don't know much about autoimmune disease, then this might be a helpful video. For those of you who do know a lot about it, then I'm probably going to be teaching my grandma to suck eggs, as they say in the UK. But it might help anyway. And I found some really interesting information. So there are 5 things I want to talk to you about. The first one is some shocking statistics and information about it. The second one is what diseases are classed as autoimmune, which is also quite shocking. The whole thing shocked me, really. The third thing is what causes autoimmune disease problems. Number 4, who can help with autoimmune disease? And number 5, what are the cures? Number 4 and number 5 are very linked. Let's start with some shocking statistics. Number 1, in the United States, autoimmune disease costs more than double the amount of money that cancer costs in terms of healthcare. So it's massive. In the United States, twice as many women have it as men, and around about 8% of the population. So almost 1 in 10 people. So if there are 10 people, 1 person is likely to have it. Nearly that. Well, it's actually 1 in 12 and a half, isn't it? What else? This one's really surprised me. It's not seen in countries, underdeveloped countries, very often, where they don't have flushing toilets and clean water systems, that kind of thing. Places that don't have that don't necessarily get autoimmune disease. And it's also not often seen in people who live and work on farms. And it's the 8th leading cause of death in women in the US. So most women who are going to get autoimmune disease develop it between the ages of 14 and 44. So those are the shocking statistics. It made me surprised. And then the next thing, when I started looking what is autoimmune disease, which diseases, in other words, that surprised me, because it made me realise that the jury is so out on autoimmune disease. There's just not an awful lot of information out there in terms of definites. So things they know definitely are multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, psoriasis, celiac disease, thyroid diseases, type 1 diabetes, irritable bowel inflammatory bowel disease. So all those things are definitely on the list of autoimmune disease, but they've also got some potential things which they are looking at, which include chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME as it's also known, irritable bowel syndrome, type 2 diabetes, obesity isn't part of the disease but can be caused by autoimmune disease, according to my research. Food intolerances are a part of autoimmune disease, and exhaustion can be causing autoimmune disease as well. Okay, so what is it what's the cause of it? Well, it's really interesting. So what happens is that when you have any kind of inflammation in your body, so what happens is that in your body comes something that is a foreign matter, a foreign bacteria or a foreign substance, and your body automatically sends the white blood cells to that area to kill that thing and get rid of that thing out of the body, and to get the body back to full health. What can happen is, and what happens with autoimmune disease, is that the body for some reason stops recognizing part of its own system as being part of its own system. So it starts to think it's something foreign, and so it sends white blood cells to that particular part, and it says, this is foreign, so get rid of it and heal it. And so when it starts to heal it, what it's doing is it's creating whatever the problem thing is, isn't it? Because it's part of your body. So so if it's a problem with a particular type of cell, in the body healing that cell, it creates more of those cells, and then the body goes, that's a foreign substance, I need to attack it. And it's just a big cycle, a big vicious cycle, which is just terrible. And that's kind of what is happening. But the sorts of things that can cause it, that again, the jury is out, but they're definitely genetic inheritance. So it can be ethnic. So certain populations are more likely to get certain autoimmune diseases. It can run in families, so you can have inherited it from your ancestors. It can be related, they reckon, to solvents and chemicals, heavy metal toxicity, and certain infections and viruses. There's some relationship to the Western. They think the Western high fat, high sugar diet. The sterility of the environment, this idea that you don't get it if you work on a farm, you don't get it if you live somewhere where there's not a really sterile environment. You're more likely to get it if you live in a more sterile environment. Lack of gut flora in your stomach. I'm pointing to my gut, but you can't see my hands. If you've had lots of antibiotics and they've killed the gut flora off, then that's more likely to cause it. And a lack of vitamins and nutrients, amongst other things. That's just a list that I found. Who can help? Medical doctors can help. Nutritionists can help, personal trainers can help, laboratories can help, and you can help yourself. And also I've found specifically a really helpful website that was Dr. Hyman, drhyman.com, which is he's a functional medical practitioner, and so they can help as well. And I'm sure there's lots of other people who can help too, but they're just the ones that I kind of found as being highlights. And so how do you deal with this? So you need to get rid of infections in your body, so you need to speak to your doctor about that, and the doctor can give you antibiotics. The doctor can also do things like blood tests for infections, for heavy metal toxicity, for allergens. My husband's just arrived in any minute now, he's going to be shouting up the stairs. For allergies. You can use laboratories to test for those things too, and they can also test for food intolerances, which can be a problem. And a nutritionist can help you with finding the right nutrients. So I've made a quick list here. So number 1, get rid of your infections. See the doctor about that. Number 2, eliminate your food intolerances and your allergies. Number 3, get tested for celiac disease. Again, see your MD for that. Also, number 4, get tested for heavy metal disease, and see your you can have that through your doctor or through a lab. And incidentally, this list of 8 things came from Dr. Hyman's website, which is so very useful to read and kind of gives quite a lot of hope. Number 5, fix your gut. If your stomach is not right, so if you've got problems with your stomach, and gut's below the stomach, isn't it? I'm used to talking about stomach being here, but I'm getting used to the idea that it's further down. It's your gut, and so you need to make sure, because a lot of your 60% of your autoimmune system is within the gut. So that needs fixing. You need to make sure that you're eating the right nutrients, and perhaps add some vitamins and probiotics and fish oils to your diet to calm your immune system naturally, so that it doesn't respond so negatively towards yourself. Exercise, so a personal trainer would help, going to the gym would help, going for walks, it's very anti-inflammatory naturally, so that's really good for you. And making sure that you relax and de-stress, so spending some me time, perhaps finding some kind of relaxation thing, maybe it's mindfulness, whatever it is, something that will help you to relax. Maybe it's an exercise, maybe it's some kind of activity that you find very useful to de-stress you and relax you. All those things can help. So I'm not trying to be an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but all those things are things that I found out, and it's made me think, actually, I didn't realise, because I've got type 2 diabetes, I've also got food intolerances, I've also got irritable bowel syndrome, and so I'm thinking that I'm actually at risk of developing a worse autoimmune disease. So I'm going to find out more about it and see if I can improve all those things in my life. Okay, well, I'd be really interested to just hear your thoughts on that, and if you could just put some comments below, and anything that you can say that might help people who might be suffering from autoimmune. Any amazing stories of getting well would be good, and just anything that can point people in the right direction. Just praying for everybody who's got autoimmune disease. It's shocking how many people I know with it, and so just praying that you all find a solution, and that that scientists find ways to resolve this, and find a way through so that people can feel better. So God bless you all, and let me know what you think below. Okay, bye.